In the name of Allah, the widely merciful, the ever merciful. This time we discuss the explanation of Sheikh Mohammad Assara'wi of the verse 33 of the Surah Alnnou'r number 24 in the Noble Qur'an. Surah Alnnou'r, verse 33. And let them who find not for marriage the means left square bracket, that is, money, housing, etc. right square bracket, keep chaste left square bracket from sexual relations right square bracket, until Allah enriches them from His kindness. And those who seek a writing left square bracket, documenting right square bracket left square bracket literally, the book for eventual emancipation right square bracket from among whom your right hand possess, then write a contract with them, if you know there is within them goodness, and give them from the wealth of Allah which He has given you. And coerce not your slave girls to prostitution left square bracket to gain livelihood right square bracket, if they desire chastity, in order that you seek left square bracket thereby right square bracket the temporary interests of the worldly life. And if someone is to coerce them, then indeed Allah is left square bracket to them right square bracket, after their compulsion, forgiving and merciful left square bracket, He will forgive them, because they have been forced to do this evil action unwillingly right square bracket. End of translation. In case that the spouseless persons were not to marry, and we have not helped them on that, and they were not able to afford the expenses of the marriage, indeed Allah the Almighty describes to them the appropriate treatment, which is the chastity, and Allah the Almighty has asked the Muslim community, either represented in the parents or in the general community, to bear the issue of the spouseless, and help them on the marriage, and if the society has not taken its role, and was not for those the self-ability to marry, then let all of them be chaste, until Allah the Almighty enriches them, which is suggesting that the legislation builds its provisions, and takes into account all the circumstances, either they all obeyed or all disobeyed. And Allah the Almighty says, quote, keep chaste, end of quote, left square bracket Alnnou'r. Verse 33 right square bracket, means, trying to chastity and seeks it and searching for its causes, and struggling to be chaste. And the first of the causes of chastity is to lower his gaze when looking. Thus there is not for him fluttering and allergen. Thus, if it was found in him youthfulness and actual power, then he or she must bridle and weaken it by the legitimate means, as the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, quote, O you the sect of youthfulness, whoever of you who could afford left square bracket marital life expenses right square bracket, let him marry, and whoever has not found, let him resort to fasting. Indeed, it is for him a reducer of lust left square bracket literally, like a ouija, that is, camel castration, so it has no sexual desire right square bracket, end of quote. Fasting acts on breaking this desire and calms down the fierceness of the instinct, because he only eats what erects his body, and in his body remains not what agitates the desire, as came in the prophetic hadith, quote, "For Adam's son is enough just few mouthfuls to erect his body ellipsis points," end of quote, or, "For the young is to strip himself to the beneficial work, the useful, and consumes his effort and energy, which, if it is not spent in the good, it will be consumed in the evil." By working, the youth establishes his identity, and grows confident in himself, and earns the halo which, by the passing of the days, will encourage him to marry and bear his responsibility. And the meaning of his saying, quote, "Who find not for marriage the means," end of quote, left square bracket Alnnou'r, verse 33 right square bracket, that is, the ability by themselves or their community aid. And Allah the Almighty saying, quote, "Until Allah enriches them from His kindness," end of quote, left square bracket Alnnou'r, verse 33 right square bracket, indicates that chastity is a means of richness, because chastity is but arises from the will of piety, and Allah the Almighty has said in a Quranic issue, Surah At-Talaq, verses 3, quote, "And whoever fears Allah, he left square bracket, that is, Allah right square bracket, will make for him a way out," end of quote. From this door, the richness of Allah the Almighty comes to him. Then Allah the Almighty says, quote, "And those who seek a writing left square bracket for eventual emancipation right square bracket from among whom your right hand forgets, then write a contract with them, if you know there is within them goodness, and give them from the wealth of Allah, which He has given you," end of quote, left square bracket Alnnou'r, verse 33 right square bracket. The book, it is known to be a gathering of things written in a paper, and the intended here is writing left square bracket documenting right square bracket, writing the contract between you and the slave owned, requiring from him to work for you such and such, then be free, that, if he or she carried on what is mentioned in the contract, quote, "Then write a contract with them, if you know there is within them goodness," end of quote, left square bracket Alnnou'r, verse 33 right square bracket, means, if their freedom will lead to better, as to a lust from upon them the humility of slavery, and makes them active in the life and activity that fits their talents. Therefore, Allah the Almighty has made this contract revenue of the revenues of the alms. Thus, He has said, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 177, quote, "Wafi, left square bracket, that is, and in right square bracket Irikabi," end of quote, from the captivity of slavery. And if the money of the alms is paid to the poor and the miserables, the money instead is paid to the owner of the slave to set free his slave. Islam has also made freeing slaves an atonement for some sin between a person and his Lord, because Allah the Almighty wants to end this issue. Quote, and give them from the wealth of Allah which He has given you. End of quote. Left square bracket Alnnou'r, verse 33 right square bracket. The right, the Almighty is the provider, and money, in fact, is His. But if He caused you to own and you ask to give the poor brother, Allah the Almighty respects your ownership. Allah the Almighty that's not of His gift to you, so He takes it from you as a loan from you to Him, and it is not returned back to you by the poor, but the Lord Almighty takes the responsibility of returning it to you, saying, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 245. Quote, who is it that would loan Allah its fairly loan? End of quote. And Allah the Almighty has not said, who lends so and so, but has said, quote, who is it that would loan Allah? End of quote. Left square bracket Al-Baqarah, verse 245 right square bracket. Because Allah the Almighty is the Creator, and of the right of His slaves whom He summoned into existence to be taken care of, and have been guaranteed His foodstuffs by the convener. And ownership respecting makes man reassured about the effects of the movement of his life and the fruit of his effort, and that they will return on him. Otherwise, why should there be work and effort, if its fruit is lost and deprived of it its owner? Then, many interests will stand still and the individual will work only as much as he needs, none overflows for charity. Then Allah the Almighty says, quote, and coerce not your slave girls to prostitution left square bracket that is, to gain livelihood right square bracket, if they desire chastity, in order that you seek left square bracket thereby right square bracket the temporary interests of the worldly life. And if someone is to coerce them, then indeed, all is left square bracket to them right square bracket, after their compulsion, forgiving and merciful. End of quote. Left square bracket Alnnou'r, verse 33 right square bracket. It is said to be own male, a boy, and own female, girl. The Prophet, peace be upon him, forbade, peace be upon him, that the man saying, my slave and my bondwoman, but says, Satan, left square bracket that is, boy, right square bracket and my fat hat, left square bracket that is, girl, right square bracket. This label is more noble for these and more high. The Satan is derived from boyhood and strength, like you are saying, this is my strength, which helps me on life's issues. The Prophet, peace be upon him, wants to raise their morale. Of these, the group of the Mamluks, who ruled Egypt one day, and were of the sons of kings and sultans and the prominent ones. Then Allah the Almighty says, quote, if they desire chastity, end of quote, left square bracket Alnnou'r, verse 33 right square bracket. Here, the Qur'an talks about the reality, where, if they wanted to be chaste, then coerce them not, quote, in order that you seek left square bracket thereby right square bracket the temporary interests of the worldly life, end of quote, left square bracket Alnnou'r. Verse 33 right square bracket, for a little amount of the low life diminishing wealth, and quote, and if someone is to coerce them, then indeed, Allah is left square bracket to them right square bracket, after their compulsion, forgiving and merciful, end of quote, left square bracket Alnnou'r. Verse 33 right square bracket, because they are in a state of coercing to prostitute, and so they miss the state of choice, so they bear not any guilt of this crime, for the hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him, quote, levitated from upon my nation the air and the forgetfulness and that on which they are compelled on, end of quote. Therefore, Allah the Almighty reassured those women who desire chastity, but are being compelled on it by their master. By all means, be assured, no sin on you, and Allah the Almighty will forgive you. All the translations are by L. House.